Hey guys. All right, so we're going to be jumping right into this. We're going to cover a couple things, specifically annotation or text is more important. We might be working, or we'll be working in this menu a little bit here. The other thing we're going to cover is blocks, and then we're going to cover setting up layouts and printing them. Go away. Without further ado, let's get started. So if we switch over to the Annotate tab here, this kind of gives us slightly better control over managing text. I closed something. 1 second. Okay, we're back. All right. Let's go ahead and create a text style right now. There's multi-line text right now, and then there's single line text. So just keep an eye out for that little blue line. Um, I think the vast majority of time you're going to be writing in single line text, and I think it's a bit easier to manage. Multi-line text, it's kind of more like trying a text box here, right? Single line text is going to be drawing, and it's not a single line. Like you can start typing something and then do a line break and keep going. To get out of single line text, you would, once you're done typing whatever it is you need, so typically one line, would hit enter and then enter, and as soon as you do that, it will close you out of doing that. So when you're placing it, again, just kind of like I showed you there, this is specifying the height. We'll figure that out in a second. Don't worry about it. Um, so um, let's go ahead and actually create a font style because that's messing me up a little bit. So we have, get out of there. Okay. So we have this first thing here, ABC check mark. This is going to be your text styles. You can also access this through the annotation section here, and then these are your text styles as well. Or you can just type underscore style, underscore style, and it will get you to the same box. So there's kind of three ways to get to that same menu. We have two types of text here, annotative and standard. I'll show you guys a little bit of a demo here with annotative and what you can do with it. But let's go ahead and cover these standard or create two new text styles that we can work with. So I'm going to click on annotative. It's going to inherit all these properties, and I'll click new. So this will basically be kind of like cloning the existing annotative style. I'm going to call this one detail. And then for now, just so that you guys understand that you can change the font family, I'm going to change this to City Blueprint, which is a fairly popular kind of architectural style. You can see right here, it's got that kind of fancy architecture writing. Makes it, I think, easier to read in a couple situations. If you do have things like italic or heavy fonts or whatever, you can change that here. We're going to leave this checked as annotative. That's what this little blue triangle is. And then we'll set the paper text height to 1/4 of an inch. So 1/4 inch. All right. And then we are good to go there. So I'll go ahead and apply that. Oops, what did I do wrong? What did I get mad at? Invalid height. What? Paper text height. 0.25 inch? What? Hold on a second. You know what I didn't do? Is I didn't set my units. Okay, so let's go back to annotation, detail, manage text styles. So we got our detail, 1/4 inch, perfect. Yeah, 1/4 inch. All right. So we'll click on standard. We will choose new. We will call this one label. And capitalizing it is just a habit for me. I don't know why I do it. City Blueprint. And then we'll also set this one to be a 1/4 inch tall. So we've got that. Apply it, and then once we have those two, we can close. So why would we do this? So there's certain times where you want text to appear at certain sizes, right? If I'm working on this, let me draw just a 10-foot square here so that we have kind of like, let's call this a room, right? So we've got this little room that we can work with here, and we want to put a label for the room. So I'll go to annotate. I'll make sure that I have annotative selected. I'll choose single line and choose single line. Now we already have it set, so I can click on there to set the center of it, And then right now we're setting the, oh sorry, single line, start point. I'm going to hit enter, and then we will set the direction. I need to turn that off. Hold on, did it just, yeah, it just changed my annotative. Let me go back and make sure that's still set to coordinate, or detail. Oh, did I not change it? Annotated? I didn't change it. Okay, there we go. That shouldn't be that. It should be that. Okay. Single line, starting point, rotation angle, so we'll move it out directly that way. And then we'll call this detail text room label. We do have some options as far as how we can, how we can set this up. So just real quick, I want to show you guys a couple things too. Before I start placing it, I can choose justify, or well, we're not going to change style. So I'll hit J on the keyboard. It'll let me give me an option here of what I can choose, or I have the, again, highlighted letters down here as well. I'm going to choose center, click here to center it, set the rotation of that, and then centered detail text. Enter, enter. Okay, so we have these two here. We'll grab this one and move it. Actually, let's leave it right there. That's fine. Okay, then we'll go here and we'll choose label, and then again we'll repeat that process. I'm going to uncenter this, so I'll hit J for justify, left, set the starting point, enter, because we don't want to add any rotation, and then we'll call this label text. Enter, enter. Okay, so let me move them all close so you can see what's going on here. We set their height to be 1/4 inch, right? So what that means is physically, each of these right here, if I measure this out, just start drawing, you can see right there it's a 1/4 inch tall. Each of these is a 1/4 inch tall physically on this sheet. But if I move these apart, and then we switch to the layout, and then Z enter, E enter. Okay, so there's those shapes, or not shapes, but lines right there. And let me set this to 1/4 inch equals 1 foot. And you can see that right there, I don't know if you guys noticed it when it happened or not, but those extra labels there just kind of disappeared, right? If oh, that's not going to work. So we'll set it to 1/4 inch, and I gotta stop scrolling. Okay, 1/4 inch, get out of there. So they're still here, but if we look here, we don't see them, right? Can probably zoom in pretty far. I don't know where they would be. They're physically in there somewhere, but it doesn't matter. So what we would do with this annotated font is we would select these, and then we would go to the add current scale option right here. So I told you guys leave this generally at 1:1. When you're starting to actually set up things to do labels towards the end of your project, you would set this to 1/4 inch scale. Select these texts that you want to be at 1/4 inch. Actually, let's do it slightly differently. Let's set this one to 1/4 inch, and then we'll set, we'll set this second one, we'll change it to 1/8 inch, and we'll choose that, okay? So now if I go to my layout, you can see that this one here, while this is at 1/4 inch scale, is showing up. But if we change it to 1/8 inch, the other one shows up. And so what this is useful for is actually creating labels for your spaces, that you could say this is bedroom 1, but I only want it to show this label at 1/4 inch size, right? Because, well, I did make these ridiculously big. But you could easily say this is bedroom 1, right? And then place that better than I did. So you do have that option to basically use these as labels, and then if I was to reuse or basically go to another sheet, and then this one is now at 1/8 inch, well then maybe I don't want that bedroom label to show up, right? Or if this was also, let's go ahead and delete that actually, now that I've shown you guys that. We've got this. So let's also add this one to 1/8 inch. Now if I go back out here, it would be better if it was center justified because it's going to be wonky. But here now, I have a label for my bedroom at 1/4 inch scale. And here, I have the same label for my bedroom at 1/8 inch scale. So I don't have to go and create two different versions of this room label to show up at different scales, right? That's the point of having this annotative text, is you can kind of work with it, use it to label things. But if then I go to do just sort of a site plan view or something, and I change this to 1/2 inch scale, well, that text is gone, right? But you can see that this little tiny guy right here that I didn't set, that isn't annotative, is just going to show up all the time. What you would actually do with the annotative text at 1/4 inch is you would come out here, and I actually have a demo for you guys where you'll be creating, let me resize this, not so much a demo, I guess, it's a little thing for you guys to walk through, where you guys will create your own section cut markers, you'll create your elevation markers, and then you'll create labels. And this is one of the areas where you use that 1/4 inch scale size. Actually, I think we have you use 1/6 inch right here or something. But you would create these labels that you can then add dynamic settings to, so that you don't have to keep redrawing these drawing labels. You can just place the drawing labels in your project, um, and enter the details. You can place your elevation markers, enter the page number, the drawing number, and which drawing, or sorry, which set and what page and all that. So this is a super handy little thing. Again, it'll something I'm going to have you guys do next week, but get ready for that. I just wanted you guys to be prepared. But this is one of those places where you would actually set these 1/4 inch labels that wouldn't resize themselves, because they're effectively working in paper space, which is 1:1. Okay, let me go back here now. So we kind of covered annotation there. Let me go back in here, get rid of that, and let's talk about blocks. Um, we're not going to get we're going to get a little bit into blocks here. Just be aware that there's a lot more. They added dynamic blocks a while back. So there's a whole bunch of cool things you can do with them. I have 2 weeks to teach you guys this program, so I'm not really going to have time to get into it. But we'll be using a similar block system when we get into SketchUp. And a block is essentially a group of lines, right? Like, you can take this and you can join it, and it's kind of a group, right? But it's really just a polyline. Or you can take this and we can group it. Oops, not going. What am I doing? And it's now a group, right? But blocks are kind of a little bit different because you have this insert option right here. So I don't have any blocks yet, so let's go ahead and create one. So I'll just make a couch. It's going to be 3 foot 3 back. We'll call it 7 foot wide. Cozy for my little 10 by 10 room here. We'll offset the back 7 inches. We'll offset the sides 7 inches. And then we'll draw a line in the middle. We use our fillet tool, set the radius to 3 inches. M for multiple, and then we'll just start coming around and clicking these different corners just to round everything out. This process right here of just like choosing random furniture and building it is a great way to get used to using the controls and things in AutoCAD. Next I'll do a trim, and I'll just get rid of these 2 little back sections, and there I have my nice fancy 7 foot wide couch. So let's move it over here so we can work on it. So we have this right here, so let's actually turn this into a block, right? And you do have the option of grouping it. I can create it as a group. Now it's grouped, but it's not doing anything for me. So if I select it, go to create block right here, and it gets this dialog. So this we'll just work through here. It's easiest if you just go top down, left to right. Okay. So name, this is going to be my cool couch. Name it something that's appropriate. I actually recommend having, like I said, I was kind of recommending you guys kind of create a whole bunch of these to practice. Well, if you're practicing creating a whole bunch of things that you could create as blocks, like, why don't you create them and then save them in a way where you could quickly retrieve them? So for the purposes of this demo, though, this is going to be my cool couch. We have the base point. The base point is where you're going to place it, and with some things, it's actually better to not even have. Well, I'll show you guys in a minute. Um, so I already have them selected. Well, let's go left to right. So pick point for the base point. So you might want to go like right here. Sometimes it's a little bit better to just go a little bit behind the couch, right? Because you don't want to place the couch directly against a wall. You want to place it just offset from the wall. So I'm going to pick that little spot that's just like a 3/4 inch behind the center of the couch. Um, so we have our base point. We've already selected our objects, so it says right there 12 objects selected. That's what we had selected. And then we're not going to be annotative because our couch is going to be to scale. And then we're not going to scale it, and we will allow exploding. So once I've got that, I'll hit OK. And now when I zoom out, you can see here's the couch. And just as a comparison, you see if we select all these lines, we have a point for the middles and the edges. If I select this, I only have this point here, right? So now if I was to, well actually, so I've got the couch loaded here. So now if I want to place this couch in my space, I would click on it. And then the assignment point right there, see how it's got that middle right there? And because I set this off 3 inches or so from the back of the couch, I can click right there. And it's just offset from the wall, so I don't need to then, like, if I placed it right in the back center of the couch, I'd have to place it and then select it and then move it down those couple inches, right? So save yourself a little bit of time and think about a good reference point that you can use for that on your blocks. If you are happy with the block, again, you want to save these. I don't know where they moved that button here anymore. There used to be a button and I can't find it anymore. No clue where it went. It was, that's not it, is it? No. No, I don't know what that is. So it's W block though. Right block. Oops, W block. Yeah. And it's going to give us this option right here. So we'll choose the couch. We don't really need to set anything else. Choose a place to save it and save it there. Again, practice using the program, practice creating doors, windows, couches, tables, chairs. It's really handy for light fixtures because you can or for power receptacles, or sorry, light switches too. Because a light switch should be so many inches from a door. So like, 1 second, let me mock this up. Okay, so just create a little light switch block that we can use as a demo. So we'll take this, we'll create a block. This will be to switch. Oh, I always forget what they're called. We'll just call it a two switch light. There's a better term for this. Don't use this. Two switch light switch. Cool. Okay, so we would place this approximately where we want it, and I'm happy with it right there. So then I would use this corner right here as a reference point, right? We already have the object selected, create it. So now this is a block, and any time that I need to go and create a new light switch, I would do an insert, take this, and I could just reference that corner so that I don't have to kind of place it somewhere and then adjust it so that it's in the right location, right? So that's why it's handy to have those off-point reference points in your blocks. And then again, if you were to create that, save it, you've got it for later. Okay. So those blocks, if you want to edit them too, you can double-click on them, choose the block you want to edit, and then there's a whole editor here, and it kind of does all the same stuff that you would expect it to. Again, this is just my super quick coverage of how blocks work for the purposes of this class. You do again have groups. I won't cover them as much. I think you should be using blocks and then groups is literally just taking the thing and then grouping it. When you do have a block, if you want to actually just kind of edit it in some way, you can also do explode. We didn't check that box, so as long as you don't check that box that says it can be exploded, you can explode your blocks. So there's my block for the couch exploded. If I need to, I can insert a new one from a block. All right. Okay. I think that's enough on blocks. Let's talk about layouts. So we kind of went over this real quick before the other day, but let's see. Page setup manager. We'll modify this. Don't forget to set this to DWG to PDF. We'll go ahead and leave the page size as is. And again, oh, we have to initialize it. Go to the thing. Okay, right click, page setup manager, modify, DWG to PDF. There we go. Okay, so we could change the files, or I think I did show you guys how to change paper size, right? Once you're here, you've got all the options. We're not going to bother with that for now. I'm gonna hit OK. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, something that we had trouble with last semester was actually printing these. So imagine you guys had 30-something pages right here, or say 200 or 300 in a big project, right? You don't want to have to manually print these and then merge them all into a thing together. So what you would do is you would click on this little button right here, and then we're going to go to Publish. And this is how you would actually tell it to print a whole bunch of things as one file. So I'm going to choose my sheet list. Actually, no, I'm not going to choose my sheet list. This is my sheet list. I haven't saved one yet. So first things first, let's remove this. This is just our working space. You can tell by that little icon right there. That's just your CAD drawing space, right? We don't want that in our drawing. So I'm going to uncheck that right there. If you don't have it selected already, make sure you change this to publish to PDF. If you don't have that, you won't get these options. DWG to PDF, so we're just kind of repeating a couple things here. If you want to change the order, let's say that you had some weird page and you want to, you can just kind of shift these around. If you see, I can drag it up and down, or you have these arrow buttons right here where you can change the order. Go to Publish Options right here, choose your location, prompt for name, make sure you have multi-sheet file selected. That's the important part right here. But it already is, because I can see it right there, so that's good. And then everything else here is good. So if I hit Publish, this should now save that. And then it's going to work in the background once I hit something here. But also with this option right here, you can create a sheet list. So if I wanted to not have to reset or choose which pages to print every time, I could create a sheet list and save it. I typically don't do that because our projects aren't that big, so I'm just going to hit No. And it's going to run in the background, so we'll keep an eye on our little printer. And it's doing its thing and it's done. All right, so let me go find that real quick. Okay, so here's that document. We have the page 1 and page 2, right? Super simple process. That's the exercise for next week. Don't mind that. So that's how we would create multiple sheets. So I will be making sure you guys do that starting next week with your milestone. But for now, just keep that in the back of your head that that's how you do that. So what have we gone over today? We have done annotations, we have blocks, and then we have gone over pages or sheets and printing. I have kind of one more lecture-ish thing, which is to show you guys how to do dimensions, but I can't show you how to do dimensions until you can build something. So in speaking of building something, let's go build something. So I will be back in another video.